And on a Saturday, I was sat in the record shop going, that's £5.99, please. And would you want to talk about your second-hand David Bowie album? Absolutely fantastic.
Which, of course, if you've got one at the moment, is worth a fortune.
Yes.
Yes. Terry, would you not do this now? Now you've dipped your toe in it, would you ever stop doing the education thing with the students?
No, I mean, it's funny because I wasn't a very good student when I was at school.
Don't worry about it, nor was I.
But I was intelligent because I proved it in the last year at school. I thought, I'm going to do this. And I come top in quite a lot of subjects.
Well, let's be real as well. You went off at a later age and passed your degree.
Well, that's right, yeah. I mean,
What degree did you get, Terry?
Transport and distribution.
Right.
BSc honours it is.
Yeah.
So, and I was really proud of that because I was 34 when I went to do it. And I went up to it because I actually moved I come from Essex, and I moved from there to Huddersfield, Yorkshire. It was very hard because I had a lot of students there that were young, and I didn't even know what economics was, let alone doing it. And maths, they call operational research, so it was all different. But when it actually came down to the transport and distribution, I could win every time because I already was in the game.
Well, you had owned a company by that point, hadn't you?
Yeah, I mortgage business, so I understood it, and I helped the students on that side of it, the reality, because unfortunately our head lecturer, bless his heart, Colin.
Hang on, do I need to put my hand over the fader here just in case?
No, he was a lovely man, but he was a bookman. He was an academic. Didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
If it didn't come out of the book, he didn't know about it. So the lessons, or whatever you want to call them, tutorials that we used to have, was me and him. Just he would tell the students one thing, and I'd say, but in the real world, this is it. And
that's why mature students work in university, because the aim of a university is to grow that global knowledge base, isn't it? And
I mean, he was very good about it because he sort of quite admired me. I admired him for his side of it, and we had a real good. I wouldn't say friendship, but we certainly had a good relationship.
Yeah.
Because he knew that I knew what I was saying about that, and then, so I helped the students, and of course they helped me. Whereas they get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do a 3,000 essay that should have been in that morning.
Yep.
3 weeks ago, I was still working on it 3 weeks. Take me 3 weeks, and I'd still get. I wouldn't get as high as them sometimes. Sometimes I did, But I came out of a 2-2, which I was over the moon.
Yeah. Absolutely
over the moon. And, it stood me instead to get me.
For sitting here?
Yeah. Look where it's got me.
Remember the conversation about qualification and aptitude? With that in mind, I'm going to play a quick track. Coming up in a minute is a Duffy, Smoke Without Fire. I'm David Stimson. This is Transitions, and you are listening to Secular Sound. We will be right back in a minute.
So Monday's happened. I'm sure you've had a great day. More likely you've realised your team are about as useful as a chocolate tea set. But never mind about that. Tune in 8 till 10 every Monday for the Mayo and Vickers show for a night of comedy, laughter and tears. No tears. There might be some tears. Less of that. But either way, we're going to bring in local talent, comedy music from the Milton Keynes area. So tune in. 8 till 10 every Monday. Secular Sound, community radio for Milton Keynes.
If
I saw that one. Welcome back, or hello if you've only just tuned in. If you've only just tuned in, where have you been for the last 40 minutes? It's Thursday. I'm David Stimson. This is Transition, and you are listening to Secular Sounds. And today we are talking rehabilitation, education in prisons with Sally from Milton Keynes College. And I'm finding out so much things I didn't know, some of which you're not going to find out, but that's tough. Joys of being in charge. Do you see any changes? I mean, you've said about helping to get students jobs.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the things I do with the schools in Milton Keynes is I work very closely with them, trying to do almost exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So we look at the local area, we try and evaluate what skill set is going to be needed in 4 years' time when the next batch of students come through.
Yeah.
And then we're looking at focusing those courses so that actually it becomes almost like a business, and the students become the output, and you are delivering the workforce for the area that you need. And because let's face it, there's no point training up 1 million brain surgeons if there's only a job for 5 of them.
Absolutely.
And you've said you do exactly that, and you work with local employers to deliver that, which I think is fantastic.
It is. And the interesting thing is, we started off with and we'll work with the local employers to do that. Actually, that doesn't work very well because guys in prison very rarely are going to be released into that locality. They're trying to transition it around now, so actually half the prisons in the country are called resettlement prisons,
right? And
they're the prisons that you go to when you're close to release.
So that lasts 18 months or whatever, you move to that prison.
You'd go to that prison, and then you would work with the team there to support the transition. But actually, the prison population can still be fairly chaotic, and we found what is easier actually is and it's quite a commitment from a small employer to work with us. So we work with national employers, and that works better because they've usually got a sort of a CSR, a corporate social responsibility agenda. Somebody somewhere will say, well, it'd be really good for us to work with people in prison. So that gets you kind of in through the door, and then we can go in and do a kind of a selling job in terms of you've got this untapped workforce in the prison that we can train for you. Tell us what you want, we'll do that training, we'll deliver you the people that aren't going to be a problem, talk to them all through about the risk. But then if somebody ends up getting released, they could be there, and then something could come up and say, actually, you're not allowed to be released here, you've got to go 100 miles down the road. They can still work or be supported
it's that
by
connection
that same
to that
company.
national company.
And it's actually better, we found, and we've gone through a whole process in the last couple of years about how to engage with employers.
Well, that's interesting.
Have a specific team that works on it, sort of, somebody who coordinates it sort of nationally, and then people out in the different regions. And we found that if we work with the big employers, that's the best way to go. You get better buy-in. Somebody in that company is going to be excited by it.
And equally, they've got a vision of the whole country, haven't they? So they can say, actually, down in the south we haven't got this, and up in the northeast
or
we
they'll
haven't
say,
got that.
look, I don't want to do it here, but we could do it over there. And we can generally say, oh, well, we've got a prison over there.
We've got a prison.
Can't get out of it that easily. And
got more than one,
That's right. And what we've also learned is that when they say no, well, that's fine enough. You say no, and then you give them 2 weeks, and you go back in again with a different angle. And some of the companies we work with, it's taken us a year or so to get in there. And, then I'll have one of the team come back and go, oh, my God, this happened. We said, that's fine, give it 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll go back in again that way. And we normally pin them down. But it's a long process. But once you've got them, then we kind of start working. And part of it is about being very selective about the students that we get to work with them, so that they don't create a bad impression, that they can be successful. Then if you can start to build the momentum, we can then get more and more going through. And I think just in the last sort of 5 or 6 months, we've worked really specifically with about 250 learners, which might not sound like a lot, but we're building our team in terms of doing this. About 150 of them, we've actually got real job interviews. I think it's a significant number of them have gone out on temporary release to have work experience, which is really vital for them. And 20 of them have gone on and got real jobs. Now, again, 20 might sound small.
That's good numbers,
but 20 who've got jobs who didn't have them before. Yeah. It's fantastic, and one of these aren't all menial jobs. One of them now we're very proud of, and I won't say where she works because she probably wouldn't want to be tracked down. But she's now working as a deputy manager in a large sort of store, And so, with a lot of the employers we work with, if they see the potential, they'll work with people to move them forward. And our numbers are only going to increase because we've developed a model, and we're kind of really on a roll now. So we are getting more and more people into work, which is fantastic.
While we were off air, Sally did describe them as her prisons.
Yes, my prisons, yeah.
This is one very, very passionate lady about what she does, which is brilliant. Is it... I suppose it's soul destroying if you see the same person come through a second time. Do you get that very often?
You do. You have a small number of persistent offenders, and I think I was saying to you off air that it's actually sometimes if it sounds harsh, but if you can have 4, 5, 6 years with somebody, you're much more likely to have an impact than people who come in with short term. And the argument there really is, should people really come in for short term sentences? Does that really have an impact? Probably only if you really need to keep people very, very safe, as in you need to put them in prison to keep the public safe, because that is the first priority of a prison, is about keeping the public safe in many instances. And I've lost my train of thought, Dave.
Welcome to my show.
I've lost my train of thought. Push me back on.
I think it's absolutely... I was on about reoffending and coming back through a second time.
Yeah.
You are kind of at the spearhead, I suppose, for the way I think we should be looking at prisons. And I know some are, and I know Milton Keynes definitely is.
Well, it's very interesting. At this moment in time, we have the fantastic pleasure of being in education. Up until recently, Michael Gove was the Minister for Education, and you know how popular Mr Gove is.
Oh, yes.
Well, he's now Minister for Justice, so I didn't escape Mr Gove. He is now our Minister, and within about 2 days, he said, my main priority is education in prisons. And so he now has a review being led by a very nice woman called Dame Sally Coates, who used to run an academy in London, a couple of academies, I think, who's reviewing the whole of our